What is up? What is up? Good day, everybody. How are we doing today? I hope all is well in the world with everybody. Welcome to Friday. It is the weekend. The weekend for a lot of folks here. The sun is shining, 80 freaking degrees plus here for the weekend. Holy mother of pearl, it's going to be a nice one. Just saying. Welcome, a welcome one and all today. I'll tell you what. Some of these things that you see, and then you have, social media bringing back, your memories from, last year, the year before, 2 years ago, things of that nature. You never know what to expect here. And I'm going through here and looking at everything, and it's like, holy crap, this happened 2 years ago. The beginning of 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the beginning of COVID, and all the stuff that was going on with that. This was one of the things that really got me into doing this the way that I wanted to. Back during COVID, they were talking about, let me pull it back up here, but there was wildfires going on and brush fires, all of that near Chernobyl. And at that point, when it was coming out, no one was talking about it. It was like 3 weeks or so before anybody started remotely even posting, commenting, getting things going as far as that was concerned. It's like, what in the name of everything unholy? I mean, and that really started the mindset, I think looking back on it, that's why I wanted to get this done the way that we were going with it and doing all of this that we do here today. So I always think back at it, it was this time 3 years ago, Chernobyl wildfires reignite, stirring up radiation. Yep. The apocalypse was nigh, just because of stuff like that. But I ended up having, and I didn't know about it. I didn't hear anybody talk about it. Nobody was bringing it up. This was like we were a month into the lockdowns when all of this started happening. And one of my students at the time when we were teaching sent me a message going, hey, is this real? Is this legit? There you go. It is. Holy cow. And it took so long for them to actually bring it up because, we were so caught up in everything else, like we always seem to be. We're so caught up, we miss the little things. We miss the fine details. We miss the key things that can go on. Okay? And this is like a really interesting segue into the one thing, is something that I didn't know about until I was watching it on a special here over the last couple of weeks that I haven't been able to do a lot of research on, but it was one of those, it was too good to pass up for a Friday, because we all know about Chernobyl. We all know about Fukushima, okay? We all know about those. And especially, if you're, anywhere above probably 25, maybe 30 at this point, you all know Fukushima and Daiichi. You all know about the Japanese nuclear meltdown disasters and all of that. And if you are, remotely anywhere near a computer half the time, you know about Chernobyl. We all know what happened in Chernobyl. But nobody seems to talk about, because there was something that happened before Chernobyl. What? I feel like the characters from Grown Ups. What? Stupid crap like that. But, look into this. The 3 Mile Island disaster in Pennsylvania. Definitely look into that, because it was a nuclear disaster that, as they put it in the series, that it was 30 minutes away from being Chernobyl. It was 30 minutes away, as they put it, from that happening. And it's like, what in the world? I saw this, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to check this out. I'm going to watch this little docu-series or whatever you want to call it. lo and behold, learn something new. So it's definitely something to keep in mind as you're going through things that, always look at this stuff. Always look at everything that gets pushed under the rug that doesn't get talked about. This was the first disaster, nuclear-wise, and it wasn't, just a couple of years before Chernobyl. And guess what? It was like 300 miles that way, okay, from where we are. And it's like, okay. And, it was long before I was even around type scenario. I think my parents were just graduating high school, their first year of college by the time this was going down. But still, what in the name of everything? So, and it reignited, the whole thing in my mind. Yeah, that's bad word. Sorry, reignited. Poor choice of words. But you know what? We're going to run with it anyways. But it was one of those things that it reignites the idea of what happened with Chernobyl, what happened with Fukushima and Daiichi. And I'm probably butchering those names, but you know what? I am a white American, and I don't pronounce stuff right half the time anyways. So, but that is definitely something, guys, that you need to look into. Google 3 Mile Island and, get the rundown of what's happening with them. Get the rundown of what went down during those times. Goes into the next one. Because this is something new, just kind of it's probably been talked about a lot, but it is definitely something that we need to bring up. I found this Wednesday afternoon, so, just a couple of days ago, and by the time stamp of it was released Wednesday morning, so people probably would have been started talking about it between Tuesday and Wednesday, most likely. But the White House says fentanyl, you always get those words. As soon as you hear fentanyl, everybody's ears perk because of the day and age that we are in right now. Fentanyl is being laced with a quote-unquote trank drug, and it is a new emerging threat. Now, we all know about fentanyl. Fentanyl not done in the hospitals properly causes very bad problems to occur. Very bad addictions if you can survive it, all of that stuff. Fentanyl is definitely not something to F with. It is definitely not something that you want to mess with. So, the White House is posting this. This was from The Hill. Okay, and I try and give you guys as much, straightforward information as I can, whether or not I agree with who it's coming from, but it's information that you get to take a look at going on and from there. Okay. The Biden administration is declaring, what is it called? Xylazine? Zylazine. Okay, so we're going to call it xylazine. I'm thinking that's the right way to do it. Xylazine-laced fentanyl is an official emerging drug threat to the nation. The first time the drug has been given that label. Xylazine, also known as trank, is an easily accessible veterinary drug approved for use in animals as a sedative or a pain reliever. But it is also being used by drug dealers as a low-cost cutting agent in drugs like fentanyl as a way to extend the user's high. You dumb effing morons. Quote, I am troubled with what I've learned about the devastating impact of the fentanyl-xylazine combination, which is growing in youth across the nation, said Rahul Gupta, director of the Office of the National Drug Control Policy. The nation, or the agency, I should say, is going to prioritize specific action areas, including increasing testing capacities. Testing for xylazine is uneven across the United States, which makes it hard to get the actual national picture. Many communities are not even aware that this is a threat that's in their backyard, Gupta said during a call with reporters. The administration will also work to disrupt the supply chain of said drug, as well as how best to regulate it. Bipartisan members in Congress in both chambers introduced legislation that would list xylazine as a Schedule III controlled substance. A Schedule III controlled substance. Gupta said that the administration is still considering whether or not to schedule xylazine itself or the broader class of similar substances that could be used in any way to adulterate fentanyl. Veterinarians legitimately use this drug, just like hospitals legitimately use fentanyl. Okay, let's make that very plain and clear here, guys. Veterinarians legitimately use the drug products containing xylazine to sedate large animals such as horses and deer, but it is not safe for use in people and may cause serious or life-threatening side effects. A horse and deer tranquilizer sedative. Let me say that again. It should only be used for frickin' large animals. Among the side effects of the tranq are ulcers that crop up on various parts of the body, which sometimes lead to the loss of fingers and limbs. Xylazine is not an opioid, so the opioid overdose reversal drug naloxone does not work on it. And a 2018 law gives the administration the authority to make the threat declaration, which is meant to help increase the awareness and spur treatments. The declaration by itself doesn't come with an increase in funding, but in a call with reporters, Gupta called on Congress to pass the White House's budget request, which includes money appropriated for combating emerging drug threats. We need support from Congress from this. Thus says the article. Now, where? Yes, it is probably very addicting. Okay. It is probably very addicting. I can honestly say that I have not delved that deep, even in my wild little era that I spent myself. I did not go that deep, out of the basics. But even back then, fentanyl wasn't so much of a thing. But then again, shit being laced wasn't such a thing. It was just, straight, normal. This is this. This is this. Now, people are trying to do this and make it even worse. Okay? So, as I tell everybody, and I make this very clear when I say this, I don't care what people do. If they want to use fentanyl as a drug, that's on them. If they want to use that to get a high, okay. I may not agree with it, but it is your choice, not mine. I will tell you that I don't agree with it. And you can tell me that you do agree with it. Cool. But if they're doing this crap to this crap to this crap, swear to God. I don't know. I really don't know. This is one of those things that it isn't going to go away anytime soon. Okay? It isn't going to go anyway. It isn't going to go away anytime soon, and it isn't going anywhere anytime soon, and it's probably just going to get worse. All right? So, keep an eye on that. Watch what your kids are doing, okay? Watch what they're doing. Watch who they hang around with. Watch what's going on. Yes, you don't need to be one of those, helicopter parents, or anything like that, but freaking talk to them. frickin' talk to them. You know, I'm no saint. I will tell my kids everything that I've done. Because they are getting to be, my two oldest are getting to be the age where started doing some stupid crap. I'm going to tell them what I did. But I'm going to tell them, you know, where the issues were with it, you know, at times. I'm going to tell them. I'll be flat out with them. But I'm hoping, you know, if you do that with your kids, you know, hopefully that'll be like, oh, crap, maybe I should, you know, before something stupid happens, talk to mom and dad. Because they're going to know what's going on. I can guarantee that this definitely isn't the first time that this has been discussed. And because of TikTok and Insta Chat and Snapgram and all of that, those stupid social media platforms, that something's probably already come across their feeds if you allow your kids to be on that. Okay? That's just usually what it is. Okay? But you got to be mindful. You got to be mindful. So, I don't know. So there's the serious moment for the day, everybody. There is the serious part of this show. Now, where's all the stupid crap at? Here it is. Okay, we actually got a couple of things right here. This is actually really freaking entertaining. Let me see if I can get this to disappear, and it won't, so screw them. Deadpool, our very loving, mouthy MCU character, is slated to be back in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And we have everybody, the whole gang as they put it, except Weasel, because Weasel sucks. Very good actor, though. I liked him for that little bit that he was in there. Everybody is signed on for the third installment of the movie, including the loving girlfriend who is dead, and I don't know how they're going to bring her back into it because said girlfriend is dead. So we are going to see what comes of that. We're going to see what happens in the long run and then go from there. One of the other things that was really cool that I just found out the other day is that apparently in the midst of release the Snyder Cut, release the David Ayer cut for Suicide Squad, release, you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 and 7, there is now an NC-17 version because of all the improv that was done for Mrs. Doubtfire. There is a NC-17 version. Yeah, I want to see that. I want to know what's going on there. I want to see that. I don't know why. When I was reading through this, it's like there was a PG, a PG-13, an R, and an NC-17 version of all of this because of how much improv Robin Williams did while on set. Now, I can completely see this. And I could see this being the case, being, you know, the 4 different versions of it because of hearing his improv and what he had done with stand-up and what he had learned over the years. I would not be opposed to seeing an NC-17 version of Mrs. Doubtfire, just listening to it. It could be the same movie at the end. But you know what? That would be freaking hysterical to listen to. I would probably hurt myself laughing. And then circling back to 20 years ago. Here we go. This is actually really interesting. Woman faces felony charges. And it's not Florida, I'm pretty sure. We'll have to find out. Okay. Woman faces felony charges for forgetting to return Sabrina the Teenage Witch VHS tape 20 years ago. So she forgot to return it back in 2001. And is facing a felony charge. What? Let's read into this. Okay, so this isn't a Florida woman, at least. This is a Texas woman. Okay, woman in Texas received a nasty shock while trying to update her married name. She was a criminal, apparently, for a crime she didn't even remember committing. In fact, she was guilty of a crime most people of a certain age have probably committed. 20 years ago, she forgot to return a VHS tape. Okay. Woman 52 made the discovery during a trip to the DMV. The former Oklahoma resident had moved to Texas and gotten married and needed to update her information. She says, I quote, I went to change my driver's license during this COVID thing that you had to make an appointment. Okay, they told me that I had an issue in Oklahoma. Woman was mystified. Woman was confused. She called the number that the DMV had provided and was connected to the Cleveland County District Attorney's Office. Now, that just is like, what on earth is going on here? Okay, during the conversation, woman was floored to learn that she was a wanted felon. First thing she told me, the woman continues, was felony embezzlement. So I thought I was going to have a heart attack, obviously. If you're getting charged for something like that, then you didn't even know, okay? She told me that this was all over a VHS tape, that I had to make her repeat it because I thought this is insane. This girl is kidding, right? No, she wasn't kidding. 1999, somebody rented a copy of Sabrina the Teenage Witch in the woman's name from an Oklahoma video store called Movie Place. When no one returned said VHS cassette, charges were filed. According to court documents, the woman was charged in March 2000 for felony embezzlement of rented property. The charge states that the woman did, quote-unquote, willfully, unlawfully, and feloniously embezzle a certain one videotape, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which had a value at the time of $58.59. End quote. The woman was stunned. And I'm reading this article verbatim. This isn't something that I am making up here, okay? The woman was stunned. Not only did she not remember ever renting this VHS cassette, she didn't even like Sabrina the Teenage Witch. The woman goes on, I have never watched that show in my entire life. It's just not my cup of tea. Meanwhile, I'm a wanted felon for a VHS tape. The woman added, I mean, I didn't try to deceive anyone over the Sabrina VHS tapes, I swear. As she absorbed the shocking news, it dawned on her how such a thing could have happened. In 1999, she had a roommate. I lived with a young man. This was over 20 years ago, the woman said. He had 2 kids. The daughters were the 2, 8 and 10 or 11 years old, and I'm thinking that he went and got it and didn't take it back or something. In fact, the more McBride thought about it, the more other parts of her life seemed suddenly to make sense. Since 1999, she had been fired from a handful of jobs. Her employers had never given her a reason. Now, she thinks that that the fact that she had a criminal background is why. When they ran my criminal background check, all they see is those 2 words, felony embezzlement. Fortunately, it seems like the woman won't have the felony much longer. The Cleveland County DA announced that they would dismiss the case against her. However, the woman, I keep trying to say her name and I keep trying to block it out, the woman will still need to legal intervention to have the felony charges cleared from her record. Stories like this are an echo from an era long past. The store where the woman rented Sabrina the Teenage Witch closed in 2008. Blockbuster, the once largest, closed most of its stores in 2014 after declaring bankruptcy in 2010. However, the woman is not alone in accidentally keeping VHS tapes past its return date, and surprisingly, she's not the first person to face charges like this. In 2016, a Carolina man was arrested for failing to return a VHS tape that he rented in 2002. Freddie got fingered. The man was arrested after being pulled over for a busted taillight. The officer said, I don't know how to tell you this, but there's a warrant out for your arrest from 2002. Apparently, you rented this movie and never returned it. I thought he was joking. Kind of that reminiscence here. Okay? It just goes to show everyone should double check their closets for unreturned VHS tapes. What on earth is this world coming to? Apparently, Freddie wasn't the one that got fingered on this one. It was the man for being and got him arrested. Just saying. So there's your WTF moment for the day, everybody. There it is. Plain as day, right out in the open. If you have any VHS tapes that you have taken and that you forgot to return and didn't pay for, we got to, put that asterisk right up there. Did not pay for and that you forgot about. Chances are high in this case, depending on where it was from, you may have a felonious embezzlement charge waiting on you. So I would definitely check that out and see what's going on. So, and guess what? This is never going to be talked about. This woman had this happen in 2020. Never was talked about. Okay? Never was discussed. Okay? Just like 3 Mile Island. Probably say not a lot of people know about. Just like there being an NC-17 version of Mrs. Doubtfire. Okay, yes, I want to hear more about this. So that's what we do here, guys. Wow. I hope that you get some laughs out of this today. Okay. Tomorrow, we're going to be in bright and early. I'm hoping that we can have everything set up so we can do a nice live show again for you guys rather than recording these, because there is a difference, in my opinion, how it plays out. So, that being said, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Enjoy the weather while you can, because the cold is coming. Possible snow Sunday and Monday here in good old Northeast Indiana. Yes, I said that 4-letter S word. You can't stop me. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day today. We will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.